hottest station is now live for your enjoyment with host iamBranded.
You know, hey, his albums has been dope as shit. You know what I'm saying, throughout his career and stuff like that. So we wanna welcome BadAzz to Smoke a Lot Radio. BadAzz, where you at, homie?
Yo, what up, world?
What up, bruh?
What's up?
Oh,
What's up
man,
with
just
the
taking
kid,
it
man?
easy, making it cheesy.
That's what it is. That's what it is. Hey, it's been a minute since we did up a little interview thing, bruh, but I want to welcome you to Smoke a Lot Radio once again, man. And, you know, it's been like a good 2 years since we chopped it up, man. What's BadAzz up to first and foremost, man? What's up with the guy?
Oh, man, you know, just living and loving it, man. Sound like one of these little niggas in New York just got shot downstairs. But, shit, man, I'm just taking it easy.
Oh, like that?
You
I'm
know,
not shit, for real?
Yeah, it's cracking out here, man.
That's what it is. You at where you at? You in New York right now?
Yeah, I'm in Harlem.
Okay.
Harlem
World. What you got going on out there, bro?
Oh, man, just working on some music, doing some videos, visiting some fam and some friends and shit.
Okay.
Yeah, man, you sound like you loaded as shit, man. I ain't seen your ass since, Pro Bowl, Hawaii? Me, you, and Cash was in there smoking so much good. You don't even, this cuz on fly, this shit nig, man. You know, I'm the host now. I host this too, but, you know, niggas, you know, Brandon, you don't know, this is my nig, bro. You know, we was all in Hawaii smoking so much tree. Me and Tash, we had the rooms, I think Tash rooms right next door to ours. You know, we was in there getting it in. I ain't seen you since then.
Yeah, man, it was a lovely experience, man. Ain't nothing changed with the date.
Yeah, niggas be moving. That nigga sound like you on some of that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm off that sour diesel. That's what they smoke out here.
And
they got kush too, but yeah, they out that sour. Everybody, that's all you gotta say. You ask for something else, you liable to get some bullshit. They can say, I need that sour, and they gonna fall through
sour
with a pillow.
That haze.
Sour. Let me get that sour pillow.
Well, red top or blue top? Red top or blue top? That ace. Red top or blue tops?
Yeah, man.
I got reds for 40. I got reds for 60. I got blues for 40, man. What you want?
They got them.
There you go. So the BadAzz, the mixtape that you got circulating on Dat Piff, and you know I'm back and I ain't went nowhere. What was the whole thing? Is that just you kind of like reintroducing yourself, getting yourself back into this game thing we got?
Yeah, that's exactly it. And I'm about to do a couple other little things that's gonna raise the eyebrows. But I mean, you always have to, sometimes if you don't super reinvent yourself, you have to, re-enter the room. Sometimes you have to go out, go to the restroom and wash your hands and come back in, making noise and shit, talking loud. Everybody see you re-enter. And it's just something that, I built a legacy, and I'm just capitalizing on it. It's been damn near 20 years since I've been in this shit, so
yeah.
I'm coming back with my Low Life crew. I got all of them together. So we're gonna, do that shit. I'm gonna be doing a lot more music with the Dog Pound and, all my homies over there. So it's just like I said, just retouching with the shit that, really helped to make you who you are, and, introducing some of the new elements. I got a lot of new artists and, extended family that we deal with that's done grown to be a part of what we got going on. So right now it's just, to stick hard to the grind. Like I done wrote about 15 songs, a whole album and some change since I've been here. I done rapped on about probably like 9 with other niggas and shit, So I just been trying to get it in, just just exercising my vibe to fuck with people. I just been visiting motherfuckers, and I'm at the studio with other niggas while they get down, But just to be in the vibe, I'm smoking some weed if I ain't, rocking and networking with people and just turning it up full throttle, because at the end of the day, until you, like, I would say, Lil Wayne, Kanye West, they have a good status in music as far as, when you put a Ice Cube or a Jay-Z or a Snoop Dogg in as a standard, the Lil Waynes and the Kanye West, maybe one or two other cats, is the closest thing that you have to those dudes, and those are the biggest rappers in the world. Eminem,
right.
Jay-Z, Snoop Dogg, and these are cats that not only have made it as far as a name, but have made it financially, have made it in other people's eyes. It's one thing when you know you made it, but it's another thing when everybody know you made it.
No doubt.
So
no doubt.
At the end of the day, when you have an opportunity to be in the likes of the greats, then me personally, I have to always turn on my engine and light a fire under my ass when I say, damn, I was once, one of the most buzzing cats, and it was like, damn, you the hottest nigga in the game right now, and it's like, that time is a short time when there's so many other talented people, and you have to keep coming back around, and you have to keep, reintroducing your status and making people understand that, I took it to the next level, and I'm going to sell more records, and if I didn't sell more records this time, I'm going to make more money, and if I don't make more money, I'm going to get on more songs with more artists. I'm going to do everything I can to broaden and expand my brand. And that's just where I'm at right now. I'm back and I ain't went nowhere. It was an irony on people talking about I left and I fell off and BadAzz ain't here, and it's like I haven't had the knack to be in the spotlight.
Right.
I definitely been eating off the music, not as big as I can. I'm sure that when you pay attention to music and you understand, it's not hard to tell when a nigga is doing his thing off of music, and even if they doing their thing and they not getting a super cake, they in the opportunity state to get that. I look at like some of the new artists that are buzzing like a whole lot, like the Racks on Racks kid, it's like this nigga running around making money. He might not be rich as fuck, but if he's doing what he's supposed to do, I've heard Racks on Racks out here. I heard that shit in Cali. I heard that shit all over so far. So for me to know that that's a kind of a big song, the nigga getting some money to do a show right now, and he's brand new.
Right.
And you getting some money to do a show in a few different places, because when you got a regional song, then of course you're only going to perform in Cali. But if your shit is popping in Cali, Miami, New York, this kid all over the nation with one song. Niggas work hard to get that kind of song, But at the end of the day, when it buzz for you, and what I say is this, you get that opportunity, then next thing you know, 2 months from now, we don't hear shit from the kid, Yeah. But it would be up to him, not saying that that's going to happen, but using that as an example, saying once you get that kind of buzz and you get that kind of shine, you capitalize on it like there's no tomorrow, because there's so many artists, and it's not hard to get overshadowed. They will actually put your shit on the shelf and say that your career is over and mark you a legend or a has-been or say you finished before you even throw your towel in or resign or anything.
No, it's one thing. It's one thing about you though, and I kind of feel like this, especially when you drop word on the streets way back in the day. Like, I don't know about you, Fly, but that shit still slapping my ride to this day, bro. Like, that shit still going. And you talk about people that drop, may have dropped one track or they got their single rocking or whatever, and then they fall off on the next woo-wop, right? You know what I'm saying? That don't seem to be, or it has never been the case with you, because you've been. I mean, not that album to me just kind of sets yourself apart as a solo artist instead of just you being lumped in a group, because. I don't know. I mean, I know I'm gonna speak for the majority of the fan base and the people that really dig you. Like, that really just sets you apart, even from anything that you did with Snoop or the Pound or anything back in them day. Because you kind of set your own trend with your own style and how it flow, and it's still a classic to this day that I feel like a lot of people don't appreciate like they should. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, most definitely. I feel like sometimes they do miss it, but as an artist. A creator of art, you just have to keep smashing. People don't really have a value to art until it's valued by others.
Right.
So if I create a song right now that everybody ain't on, like when I turned on the thing and one of my songs off the mixtape came in, and I tried to email you a couple songs which was off of that shit, and I just got a bad signal here. It's real low. Like I got
it's all good.
It's real low. So real low. As a matter of fact, I fucking dozed off and then loaded up. But I was sending you like the crazy tour and some other stuff. But it actually took like 15, 20 minutes, probably longer than that, to just load the email up after I attached the MP3s. But basically, when I heard the shit on the thing, I said, oh, they might got the thing. But even now, it kind of died down. I put it out in November last year, but to me, the time actually passed a lot faster, and the record, kind of really for me buzzed longer than I expected. Even now, I was gonna do the Crazy Part 2 video out here. I actually was supposed to go on a roof today and shoot some scenes, but I couldn't get up there. Because the building is 35 stories. So if you can imagine, this shit is tall as hell. So I was going to go up on the roof and, shoot some scenes for that. But just to sum it all up, I feel like the music sometimes, we don't capitalize on our music in the sense that make sure everybody got it before you even go to the next thing. I feel like I could have dropped 5, 6, 7 mixtapes in that time. And that might have been cool, but at the end of the day, I'm not. I was really doing a test run, feeling the water, seeing how I was gonna reach the people just from dropping it, how I had access at dropping it. Not incorporating no bigger entities or nothing, just hooking with, like, the DJ that I did it with was just a dude that I had recently met. But I felt him. I seen him, how in love with hip-hop he was and what he was doing. And he was on his first few mixtapes, but at the end of the day, he really took a lot of pride in it. And, I felt him. I was like, man, this nigga's really, one of those ones. So I talked to him about it. Couple months had passed, and then he was like, like 2 months, and he was like, man, are you gonna let me do it? But I was having second thoughts. And then on impulse, he was like, man, what's up, man? We still gonna do the mixtape, man. Give me the shot. I won't let you down. Blah blah blah. He said something that really, it struck me again. So I just sent him like 10, 15 songs right then. Right then, I just emailed him everything and the album cover, and he sent it back like 3 days, 2-3 days. He sent it back with a rough, and I was like, this is fresh. And I made a few changes. He only did one rough. He did one rough. I hit him. I said, look, that shit is dope. I said, change this, switch this, and then he was like, nah. It was one thing. I remember it was like 3 things I told him to switch, and it was one thing. It was like 4 things, and he changed 3 things, and one thing he was like, nah, bad. I think this needs to stay like this. And I really appreciated him being an artist that's working under somebody that's been in the game as long as me and still standing his ground and saying what he felt, because I had to do that with Snoop. Snoop had to do that with Dre. And sometimes I won't say intimidated, because that's not the word, but you do be very, very, very cautious and choosy about, disagreeing with these guys.
Right.
Because they know what they're
And
talking about.
And speaking of which, we didn't do that at the beginning for the new listeners and the younger listeners and people who just ain't familiar. Run down your resume for them. Just give them a little taste of, where you got started, where you from, the whole, little background for everybody. So we just started talking like we partners. I'm like, we know each other. Everybody on the phone like, man, who the fuck are these niggas talking about Snoop? Man, who the fuck, man? So we gotta let everybody know there's a lot of new iTunes heads, YouTube heads, a lot of kids out there listening and buy music. Like they want to know you talking a lot of. They like, man, fuck, I barely heard his name. Like, man, they just started talking, man. Brad was like, man, it's been a couple years. I'm like, yeah, hey, sister, why, baby? We talking like we just on the phone with each other. We got listeners all over the world, so let them know where they can live, where you from. Break it down for them, Bad.
Oh yeah, the original kid, they were scared to say his name on the radio in the 90s, and I definitely knew that it was gonna be a controversial, the BadAzz. Everybody know it as the BadAzz because of purposes, so I kind of ran with the Z's and made it famous. I had a little tattoo on my chest when I was 14 years old, and that bitch said Mr. BadAzz, BadAzz. Shortly became the double dollar signs. I never had a problem with the Lil Boosie being BadAzz because I understood how it came. But just for the kids who's listening, who would say I stole my name from Boosie or any shit like that. 10 years before there was ever a Lil Boosie, there was BadAzz putting out music, and I never heard of this kid. So at the end of the day, free Lil Boosie, much love to him. I know that a lot of people get the whole thing confused. Like I said, I never made it a big issue for me because Lil Boosie is his name. He made an album called BadAzz. Some of his fans call him BadAzz. I respect that. I have no problem with that. I am the one and only BadAzz the rapper. Period. Always have been, always will be. My name ain't Lil Boosie. His name ain't BadAzz. I'm the original and the one and only. Never will be another. And if there is, I'm going to sue the fuck out of him. I came in the game and I got my first platinum plaque in 1994, 95, Thin Line Between Love and Hate soundtrack. I was introduced to the game by Snoop Dogg, who put me in a group called the LBC Crew, which was...
And you was in Thin Line Between Love and Hate, too. Don't leave that out. Not only were you on the soundtrack, you were in the movie. So,
I was getting to that. I was getting to that. Snoop Dogg Snoop Dogg put me in a group called the LBC Crew with my homeboy Lil C Style, which was one of the first people from the Dog Pound I actually kicked it with and met besides Snoop. He was actually in the car when I met Snoop, and then a few days later, we ran into each other on the block, and he was like my connection to the Dog Pound. Big shout out to him. My homeboy Technique, which was one of the youngest, most talented rappers I had ever seen as a professional. That nigga had a record deal at 14 years old. That nigga was on television at 15 on BET, on, all of this stuff that we got a chance to do early. But that basically was my start. I met Snoop at VIP in 1992. He had just came out with the Deep Cover thing, and the G Thing song was out. The Chronic album was freshly about to drop, probably within the next month or two. And I ran into him, and we chopped it up. We talked about some music. I rapped for him. He was like, "You the freshest little nigga I heard around here. I'm gonna put you on." About a week and a half later is when I ran in a little style around the corner from my house, and I was kind of surprised, like, "What you doing over here?" He's like, "That's the dude I was rapping with Snoop." Make a long story short, Snoop put me in the group, put me on with the Pound, and we did hundreds and hundreds of songs. I remember one day me and him was rolling in his Hummer. He had like a 97, it was a little earlier than that because it was like 95 model Humvee, the big one, Army Hummer. He had that shit, and Tupac called. He was fresh out of jail, but he was still on the East Coast. he was calling. Suge had patched him through to Snoop's cell phone, and he was excited. He was like, "Oh shit, it's Tupac on the phone." And you know, I had already previously told him that, you know, and Snoop, he was too young to be one of my favorite rappers at the time. You know, honestly, he was like one of my best friends. He was the dopest nigga, you know, the dopest, newest nigga that I knew. But he was nowhere near one of my favorite rappers now, today, and from years he has been. But I was like, Tupac and Ice Cube are my favorite rappers. And the nigga was like, no way. I said, yeah, let me talk to that nigga. So I got on the phone with Tupac and said, what's up? You know, well, welcome home, and, you know, welcome to Death Row, and I'll see you when you come out here in a couple of days. Sure enough, like a few days later, Snoop called me like, BadAzz, how I supposed to be going to do a song with Tupac at 3 o'clock at Can-Am? You should meet me up there. I said, oh, shit, I'm on my way. So when I got there at 3, Pac was already there in the studio rocking. He was getting it in, you know. And he was actually, like, semi by himself, probably like one other person up there. So, you know, I made myself at home, which he was at my home studio. And, you know, I just chopped it up with the cat. And, you know, we kicked back, smoked a few blunts. By the time Snoop got there, me and this dude was already acquainted, you know. So I watched him do America's Most Wanted. And, you know, all of these groundbreaking historic songs, you know, was around with most of the stuff that BadAzz produced for him, and just got to watch all of these historical songs take place. The first day I met him, he was doing It's All About You, where Drew Down spoke on the front, and by the end of the night, we had like a house full of like 20 rappers in the house. I'm talking about like from DJ Quick to Drew Down to, I can't remember every single person, but, you know, Nate Dogg came in and sung the hook. Snoop was in there that night. You know, other songs got worked on, but just these are some of my fond first memories of the rap game. I had barely been in the game less than a year. I had already did like 4 songs with Pac, 5 songs with him after the first couple months I knew him. And, you know, like things was taking off very, very smooth. So I just got to experience it from a level, you know, my mentor, one of my best friends, was growing up to be like he is today, one of the biggest rappers in the world. And I got a real early chance on the game to be able to be with Snoop and BadAzz and Corrupt and Nate Dogg, rest in peace. Wrote a couple of singles for Warren G, which is one of my good friends, you know, since me being fresh out of high school. You know, just got a chance to rock with RBX, you know, fuck with the DOC, fuck with Dr. Dre, you know, write some shit with Snoop and him, and, you know, and some of the boys, just to be involved with the whole camp. You know what I'm saying? Lady of Rage, and everybody that I've been involved with us, you know, I had a chance to be there, and if I didn't get a chance to do songs with them, I was there with my homies, rocked with them. I was with Mac 10 when they did Cavi Hit and BadAzz and Corrupt in the studio, you know. So all of the experience that I have, I was on Change the Game remix with BadAzz and Corrupt and Jay-Z and Beanie Sigel and Memphis Bleak. So, you know, and this a host of other, I got hundreds of songs out. You know, if you Google BadAzz and you look at my catalog of release songs, I've been on like 60 albums that are out. Like literally independent albums to mainstream albums. I got shit with Mac Dre. I did songs.
I just was gonna get to that.
Yeah, I mean, I've been in the Bay
because you was out in the Bay for a minute too.
Oh yeah, no. What the Bay took me in, I first went to E40 House in like '96. BadAzz was actually the first person to take me to the Bay. He met Be Legit. And him and Be Legit hit it off. And I'm talking about, like, hit it off like them niggas would drive 5 and 6 hours just to go hang with each other. We didn't even have shows out there. And he'd be like, BadAzz, me, Trey D, Lil Hershey, BadAzz. I remember the first time we went to the Bay and hooked up with Be Legit, hooked up with D-Shot, went to E40 House, fucked with Mac Dre. We fucked around with Spice One. We was all over the Bay, and we just had a great time, man. And ever since then, I always went. And, you know, it's like from tapping into it at that, like Richie Rich took me in. I met Richie Rich with Pac. You feel me? So all of these cats that I come across, and then when I do come to the Bay on my own, I had a chick from Fairfield for 2 years that I fucked with. You know, that was my bro. So I used to drive back and forth to the Bay, hit that 707. You know, and I would hit Sacramento. I go all kind of ways. You know, I come up this 5-way, and then once you get to 5, I forgot that little freeway stand, and you hit Stockton and all that. Then you come around the other front way where you be like by San Jose, and then you come up through Hayward and all that. I know all that shit. I stayed in Hayward. I done been from Frisco all by San Bruno and all that. I'm talking about getting it in all through that shit, fucking with
really
wiggling. When they was cracking. You know, like, I'm talking about like watching all these kids. Like I watched Messi Mar become a star, my nigga. I watched Mac Dre become a star, and you know Mac was already on. Dre was already doing his thing, but I'm talking about watch the nigga blow up when we knew who he was. But everybody in New York wasn't on Mac Dre when we knew that nigga was a star.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I watched all these niggas. Free PSD too. That's my nigga for life, forever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I definitely before the rap game is over for me, I'm doing the president of California on Thiz Entertainment / Double Dollar Sign, which is my label. And regardless of the status of Thiz Entertainment at any time, if it was this week, next week, or 2 years from now, I'm definitely with me, Miami, Kilo Curtis, and Big Don. We already put it together. I'm going to have everybody that's affiliated with Thiz that's going to be around when I do it, because I was supposed to do it a couple years ago, and I was out there, and we started it. I started the
That's why I brought it up.
Yeah, so at the end of the day, all of that shit is going to go down. I actually haven't even played the Bay in the last couple of years to even do that, and I never wanted to send the record type recorded in L.A. and send it because it was actually a Bay Area project that I came with, like Money Run. Money Run was done in Sacramento, you know. So if you understand, a lot of the California is just by being my home. That's why I call myself president of California. That was of no disrespect to nobody from California that got a bigger status, but I needed to have a name for me that really put who I am as far as BadAzz and my history and my whole involvement with the state, not just Long Beach, I'm one of the first niggas who was fucking with San Diego and doing songs with niggas in San Diego and going hard with niggas who didn't even have a big name, and some of these niggas got names, niggas like Mitchie Slick. I've been fucking with Mitchie Slick over 10 years. You know, and knowing them and, you know, actually doing songs with them, and you know, like I fuck with the backpack rappers, my nigga. I fuck with the gangster rappers. I fuck with all the Latins. You know, me and Louis Loke from Frisco. Me and him did some shit back in the day. Me and Yuck, you know, we called ourselves the Wonder Twins because when I used to have my braids, he had braids. Everybody would be like, "You related to Yuck Mouth? Yuck Mouth, brother?" Or he'd say somebody had called him BadAzz, or somebody had called me Yuck, and he'd be like BadAzz.
Yeah.
No disrespect. Has anybody ever called you Yuck Mouth? I said, "Oh my mama, nigga, you know how many people done called me Yuck Mouth?"
Niggas called
And
Yuck Mouth.
Yuck Mouth. And he'd be like, man, they call me BadAzz all the time. I said, you know what? We the Wonder Twins. So every time we see each other to this day, we like, Wonder Twins, activate. You know? I remember when Yuck and Numb was together. That's what I come from. You know what I'm saying? When the Loonies came out, I fuck with Shock G. I fuck with Ray Love. I fuck with, you know, the Nutso, Keisha Cole brother. Like, I fuck with California on a level that everybody don't. And like, a lot of these niggas was dope to me because a lot of the Bay niggas, don't get me wrong, I met on my own. Dad introduced me to the first shit. Then Tupac introduced me to a lot of Bay niggas in L.A. Then I met a lot of other Bay niggas in L.A. just on my own recognizance. But at the end of the day, once I got cultured, these last couple years, like the last times I played the Bay, man, I'm telling you, 08, probably 07, 08, a little taste of 09, and that was like the last time. I've been to the Bay since then, but ain't really just, you know, I should go to the Bay State for 3 weeks at a time. You know what I'm saying? So right now, it's like, I have been so cultured with the Bay, man. I can't name everybody that I did a song with.
That's right.
You feel me? So, and that's what I love that because L.A., a lot of niggas be, you know, they be too picky about their talents. At the end of the day, it's not about a nigga being whack to me on the mic. It's about a nigga being hungry. Because if I can listen to you and you don't sound like the greatest lyricist, I'm a base my dealings with you off of you swagging like Soulja Boy. Soulja Boy, to me, is not one of the greatest lyricists. Gucci Mane is not one of the greatest lyricists. And I'm not dissing you fellas if y'all hear this. I love those cats. They fresh. Waka Flocka, he's not one of the greatest lyricists, but guess what? These niggas are getting more money than some of the freshest rappers in the world, and they fucking fresh, and they fucking dope. You feel me? So at the end of the day, that's what hip-hop is about. It's about excelling in one area if you can't excel in another area. Because I'll tell a nigga like this, if you could lyrically serve him, but this nigga getting more money off music than you, then who's winning?
Who's really winning?
You know,
Shit,
so let's balance our game out, because don't get me wrong, I like lyricists that's, you know, Razzcast dope. But look, if you Razzcast dope and we can't sell our records, what does it matter? How we gonna diss a Gucci man and say, you know, at the end of the day, yo, Razzcast is doper than him? But let's be specific. Let's say Razzcast is a better.
Gucci made $20 million last year, goddamn me.
No, that's what I'm trying to say, and we ain't making nothing near that. And this is what about hip hop. It's a good standard, right? Now I got Gucci Man, who I feel like I could rap as good as him or better, and not worse. But why did this nigga make $20 million last year and I didn't? And that's just something for you to check yourself and look in the mirror and say, okay, can I make $20 million this year? Is it possible for you to make $20 million in 1 year off your talent? Can you swag out like that? And that's why I love the hip-hop game, because to each his own. And every nigga who's dope ain't got the same money as this nigga who dope. And every nigga who whack ain't dope like this nigga who whack. You feel me? So
but
it's
got
a
the
love
money.
game, and it's for everybody, my nigga. It's for everybody that got talent. You know who I'm starting to feel right now that fucking me up, my nigga, that funny as hell. And I didn't even understand it, because I first heard of the chick from some controversy from the bitch saying nigga. And the white girl said nigga. Oh, look, but she's fucking fresh. So look, I hear the controversy. I hear the controversy off her, and I just watched one of her interviews today. So look, she was rapping on World Star and shit, but trip this out though. I seen her little Gucci Fendi Fender. I liked that song, and it was catchy. It was fresh. Like this her whole concept. I was like, she gonna win with this, because if you check it out, the bitch is coming on a level like, you know, I'm a regular ass white bitch.
I'm a regular bitch.
I smoke weed. And who don't know a bitch like that? I know white bitch like that 15 years ago. That was my homegirl. Like, you know, dress crazy, act stupid. You know, don't really act black, but she swag out with the hip hoppers. And that's the point. My point to saying that is that when I was first coming in hip hop, and when I first loved it before I even got a chance to rap, I used to be like, rap gonna be one of the biggest shits in the industry. And at the beginning, we already had, when I was young, I remember Fat Joe coming out. I don't know how long niggas know Fat Joe been around, but Fat Joe was one of the Latins. I seen him early in the game. I seen other races that if I could think about it, it was a couple people that was back in the day. Nothing striking me right off the tip of my head, but you could always see different cultures coming into hip-hop. And I said, I know hip-hop is huge when we got like a real like Chinese rapper, and that was Jin. Remember Jin? And I said, this shit is so multi. I said, one day we going to have like a crazy-ass white girl that don't. Remember, if you remember back in the day, everybody that rapped 10, 15 years ago, they wanted to sound black because they felt like that's how you was going to be accepted in hip-hop. Yep. But it was kind of true, because if a white girl came out rapping like Krayshawn back in like 91, we would have been like, she whack, fuck her.
Yeah.
The game hadn't got that diverse. And to me, she's fresh because she sound like a white bitch. And just how she rap, when I listened to it, my nigga, it made me really like her, because I said, this bitch sound like a crazy-ass hip-hop open white bitch. I always smoke swishers, and I'm like, oh, this like a bitch I done ran into at the club in Oakland, and she like, BadAzz. Some girl ran up to me and say, my homegirl can rap. And I'm like, yeah, right. And then she come up, and then she bust, and she making me laugh, but I'm really, really in my heart, I'm like, she fresh. Like, you fresh. Yeah. Like, yeah, I do my stuff. You know, and it's like, at the end of the day, my nigga, this shit is for all of us. It's room for everybody, and anybody that got any kind of talent, you know, may God bless you. Capitalize on it. Put your your best foot forward and make it happen, because we making money out here off that. That's my next venture. I've been plotting on, you know, like not scared to say it because the secrets of war are too specific to not share some of the the generals. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
Saying,
No doubt.
You got to have your merchandising up these days. You got to have your T-shirts and your sweatshirts and your right off the bat. Invest in that and invest. These are things. Don't get me wrong. Like you've seen BadAzz merchandising, but my label controlled it. Since I've been independent, I haven't did no merchandising. I've been dumb. But I'm saying now I'm doing everything at once. I'm finna come out with all the merchandising. I'm gonna do shit that niggas ain't even doing right now because I said since I waited so long to bust out with this shit, I gotta be cutting edge. I'm gonna be one of the first rappers to come with some of the kind of merchandising shit I'm coming with. You feel me? Like,
no doubt.
Like just so that just gives people an opportunity. That's why I said the secrets of war are too detailed for me not to share the generals with y'all, meaning, do your research and get you some odd merchandising things because right now is the age of odd merchandising, which people don't even know, saying like, I'm making some, these is just one thing that I'm a shit on. I'm making some badass. You feel me?
No doubt. Hey, and you can't, you definitely got to make sure you rise to the top because if you can't really invest in yourself, you know what I'm saying, who's going to invest in you if you can't even put no work into it?
Yeah. And that's where all your money's at. Your money is in. See, this is what we never understood. We never really understood how, like, Jay-Z got so famous and rich. But look, do you ever trip? Jay-Z was smart because he did everything Rockefeller, Rockefeller. He didn't really have a lot of Jay-Z merchandise, but Rockefeller clothing was his merchandising.
Mm-hmm.
That's what his clothes were. That's what he wore. So that's what Jay-Z buys. I don't need to have a Jay-Z Hard Knock Life T-shirt. Those are rare. We'll make those. We're gonna make a few of those, but niggas like Eminem got rich, but Eminem got more money than everybody on the phone right now because of beanies. And when I used that as an example last week, niggas said because of beanies, like hats. I said yes, meaning we're not even counting how much he made off his T-shirts, his sweatshirts, the fucking the anger management shirts that I jerseys and shit, the special shit that he made that you could sell for $100 when it's cracking. We're not talking about that. And just the beanies, just the 20 tours he done went on, and if you calculate every single beanie that he done sold, that nigga done made $6 million off beanies in his whole career. Of all the hundreds of millions he made, that nigga probably made maybe $10 million off beanies. So I'm saying if a nigga can make $10 million off beanies, my nigga, you know what kind of game we working with. We working with something that it has infinite potential.
Yep.
So therefore, we have to get up on our marketing. We have to get up on our product, and we definitely can't think that you know what I'm gonna make? I'm gonna I don't know how far I can go back, but I'm gonna do all my albums and everything. Everybody listening to this is gonna be fresh because I'm gonna see who can catch up to this because I don't tell people shit like this, but this is fresh. I'm gonna try to get a copy of all my records from 8-track to cassette. I got them on cassette. I don't even know. So that's what fucking niggas up. No,
this nigga said 8 tracks, baby.
Listen, nigga, listen. You're gonna be able to. I'm telling you, the only way I'm not gonna do it is if there ain't a company that'll make them. But I know that there's old companies that do this shit. So I know cassette. You can get a cassette still. You can still get.
Oh yeah, hell yeah, no doubt.
But I'm definitely gonna try to get. I'm talking about where you got Word on the Streets 8-track. You got Word on the Personal Business 8-track. You got Money Run 8-track. You got Executive Decisions 8-track. You got I'm Back and I Ain't Went Nowhere 8-track. And you got the LP. You got the everything. The cassette. You have the CD. And then what I'll do is I'll do like $1,000 collector one where it got the 8-track, the cassette, the LP of each one, and maybe even make it more than that. Just do it roundabout. But these are merchandising tactics that. I'm sharing a little bit with y'all that you gotta go nuts on your merchandising. I never made a badass teddy bear. I'm back and I ain't went nowhere teddy bear. The teddy bear got the shirt on. You feel me? For the bitches and shit like that. And don't get me wrong. You don't have to spend a lot of money on these merchandising things. You can get 50 of those bears for, how much, say a bear costs an average bear costs $19.99 or $15.99. You get those bears wholesale. You buy them for $2-3. You get them all imprinted. Put the little T-shirt of your logo on it, and then next thing you know, you put them in your gift bags. You sell them at your concerts. You put them online on your website. These ain't shit you got to run around with these teddy bears. This is shit that you get it to your fans in a certain way, but it still makes you money. You know, you do a gift bag and you sell the teddy bear, the album, you know, you do a Valentine's one for the girls, or, you know, it's just certain shit that you do.
Right.
And, you know, you got a Christmas gift bag. Yeah, where you got a sweatshirt, a T-shirt, 8-track, you know, all these different shit when you go into your shows now. Like the shit, like the 8-tracks is collector shit, real collector shit, because 9 times out of 10, the people who buy them either going to have one, or if they don't have an 8-track and they buy the cassette, they want it for a collector's item. That's like me.
Right.
I don't have an 8-track player, but that might make me get one because I want to hold that.
I still got my word on the street, cassette tape, baby. I still got my word on the street, cassette tape, still.
I got a brand new in the plastic, never been ripped out. I got personal. I got all my albums. I'm good about that. But the couple when I found the Tupac the other day, I was sick. I was sick when I found it in my storage, and it's like in mint condition. And I was in my storage. I was getting something out. And I had like 2 of my homies with me. I was leaving in New York in a couple of days, so I had them take me to my storage. We were getting some shit out, and I ran across the Tupac cassette, and I was like, "Look at this." And they was like, "Oh shit!" So we started looking on eBay and Google, you know, trying to see people. They was see how much that shit is worth. But there was nothing. No one. They had put it like this. They had a snippet of Machiavelli, and it wasn't even in the plastic, and it was $200.
Right.
So he was like,
no shit.
Like, how much would you say that? Yeah, it was a snippet, and it was $200 on there. There was no other full version. So I would have had the only full version on there. I told him I'll put it on there for $1,000. He said that shit'll be sold tomorrow. I say you damn right, because if there's any even me, if I seen that on there, Machiavelli album in the it's plastic, and it's in the cassette, and it got the plastic. I never took the plastic off, but I already I got CDs like that. Every album I ever been on that was big, I bought 3 or 4 copies, or I got them from the label, and I saved them. Like I got personal business, I got word on the street, all shrink wrapped in the thing, you know.
Yeah, no
what
doubt.
I'm gonna do with stuff like that though, I'm gonna sign. I got some of them signed. Some of them I will sign. These are shits that I'm gonna put on my site. Collectibles that only I can make a collectible the way I did. I got almost every outfit and any big videos. Wrong Idea, that video. Any videos you see me, I got the outfits. Cause I said, how else these bitches gonna get in the Hall of Fame? You feel me? That's how I thought about my career. No, real talk. Because if anything event of my demise, if I die tomorrow, my nigga, I got the shit in a place where like my mom or some whole family could get that shit, and it's there. And when they pull it out, some of my family know I'll be saving this shit, but for them to just lift it up and see it and be like, oh shit, this the outfit the nigga wore on that. And I'm talking about from the shoes and shit, because some of the artists right now, music is so fast. It's so fast that you'll be lucky to have a Gucci Man outfit from his first video. You feel me?
Yeah. No doubt.
Like, I got the UCLA sweater. I got the UCLA sweater that I wore in Thin Line Between Love and Hate. I got the shirt that I wore in the movie. I have the shirt that I wore in the video. You know what I'm saying? Like, shit like that.
Okay.
This was just shit that I was on collecting as a kid. I'm like, some of it back then I would give it to my mom. I'd tell her, Mom, I wore this in the video. Put it up. Don't let nobody touch it. Put it somewhere. Later on, I got older. I tell her, hey, give me all them collectibles. Because then I was young. I felt like I would lose it. Once I got old enough to really take care of the shit and keep it in safekeeping, I got it. I got every single record I've been on. Like, as far as, my plaques. A couple of my plaques, I don't got them. Nigga done dropped them, and you got to reorder them and shit. But I got 14 gold and platinum plaques. I got an opportunity to be on records and records that were certified and, do some red carpet shit and, get some films and just really, really, really love it. And like, really, like I said, I did it with my homies. A lot of people saw me and was like, my mom would be like, BadAzz, what happened, Jamar? You fell off. And I'd be like, no, Mom. I was doing a lot of stuff with Snoop because when I started doing stuff for myself, everything seemed smaller and people was like, how come? Like, how come when you do your stuff by yourself, it's not like, the Snoop Dogg caliber? And I'm like, don't get me wrong. I do get a lot of love. They show me a lot of love, but Snoop is, as we can see now, people couldn't feel that he was an iconic artist. Like, I look at Snoop like this. Everybody from the Dog Pound is a star. Snoop is a superstar, So, and that's just something that you have to understand. Snoop is an icon. It's like Michael Jackson and the Jackson 5. The Jackson all were stars. Michael Jackson was so big, they didn't even look like as famous as they were. Snoop make all of us look small. That Corrupt don't seem as big as a star when you got a nigga like Snoop around, because Snoop is Snoop is like a crazy, like, oh my God, people don't even blow up that big in life, So, when you got like the Jay-Z, even 50 Cent, he's there, but 50 Cent, even him, 50 he's really, really recognized for his records, but at the end of the day, his money goes hand in hand with that. That's
hey, BadAzz, I had a question from a fan earlier today. You say you got a website that you're getting ready to get popping, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's more of a to be continued on the website front.
No, it's $.com. It just went down. I just haven't put it back up because I've been remodeling and trying to get everything right and get all the merchandising and get everything set up so they can buy stuff right off my site. Okay,
for sure. And, y'all can also make sure y'all go ahead and go to datpiff.com and just search BadAzz for that I'm Back and I Ain't Went Nowhere mixtape by DJ Age. And before we wrap this and play some more music, man, what you want to tell these new people out there, the new listeners, and even the old heads that have been supporting you for so long, man? What you want to tell these people about anything that's coming up or whatnot?
I'm about to I'm gonna give away a lot of music because I understand how music has become these days. If the fans have it to listen to these days a little better, they'll come to your shows. They'll invest in your situation a lot better. I watched a lot of these kids blow up off giving away mixtapes. And that people don't understand the price of music went down so far that a song, even now, you could sell it for $1, but a song is really only worth like 10 cents. So that would mean you have to sell more songs, you have to make more songs, you have to do more in a short amount of time, and you also have to, like I said, if a song is worth 10 cents, you have to give more music away. You have to make more, you have to give more to your fans as far as them feeling you as an artist to even buy your shit. If you look at the records, the artists that are really selling right now, they underground artists who got cult followings, or they big artists like a Jay-Z, like they waiting on the Kanye West and Jay-Z Watch the Throne. Everybody excited about that. But at the end of the day, if you don't have some form of establishment or some form of following, no one's going to buy your record. So what you have to do is create an abundance of music, and you have to damn near give it away for them to buy some of your special shit. But what's the good thing about that is you give away 20 songs, you make one good single, and you eat off that one good single. And that's not saying that that's going to happen for everyone, but that's in essence saying that's kind of how you get paid off the music now. So even for me, I'm finna put out 100 free songs, and then I'm finna put out a proper-ass album that people going to have to buy. And
then your loyal fans is going, they're going to gravitate to you when you buy it. It's just like stocks, baby. Like, you might get a few free stocks when it's all said and done, but when you got to pay for some, that's an investment. You can go ahead and get that shit popping. So, no, that makes sense, bro. That makes sense.
So, I got everything ready. I got tons of music. I'm sorting out my outlets because, like, even to that piss and that stuff, all of these was test runs for me. This is stuff that I never did. I didn't ask nobody what should I do or what avenues I should go. I wanted to just test the water. It's like getting out there fighting. Just get out there, fight. Let me go out here and fight. I've been training. So now I just, set me up 5 fights. Let me go out here and fight and see what it's like. That's how I felt in the essence since I was a boxer. I just need to go have some fights, test the competition, see what it's like. Now after I've been out there and got my feet wet, now I'm sitting at home reevaluating the competition, reevaluating my strategy, and seeing how I'm going to come at this shit and how I'm going to get my music back in the forefront of hip-hop. And it's already good. It's not me worrying about the music being good. It's about worrying about getting my good music back in the forefront so people can see it. And I do testers like that. Like Don't get me wrong. I feel like sometimes you have to give your best, but sometimes you have to give them something good just to see what they do, and that's what I'm back, and I ain't went nowhere. It was just something that I felt was good enough for anybody that liked me, and I want to see how it's gonna go. Because at the end of the day, I felt like if I put the best, I'm actually scared to take the 20 best songs that I feel I got and put them out. Because if they don't do what I need them to do, then where am I?
There you go. I feel you. Follow BadAzz on Twitter. BadAzz LBC on the Twitter joint, bro. I appreciate you coming in to Smoke a Lot Radio. You know what I'm saying? Giving that good game. You know what I mean? So hey, just make sure, especially when it's time for you to crack open that new track off the album. When you do, make sure you give it to us first so we can run that motherfucker. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. I definitely got that, man. I do understand how important the internet are. Big shout out to every single artist that never hit mainstream radio, that's getting a cake and that's doing a thing, that's hopping on these stages, getting these $5,000 and $10,000. Big shout out to y'all because y'all are the future of hip-hop. You know what I'm saying? I watched Crooked Eye and a couple other niggas, and big shout out to him because he one nigga from my city who took it out. And before I go, I got to give it to 40 Glock because he one of the leaders of the new school as far as this new shit, and he gave me a lot of game that's cracking right now. So, you know what I'm saying, adapt to what the rap game is today, and, you know, God bless everybody that's out here getting their music from the radio stations to the DJs to every artist. You know what I'm saying? I don't care if you sing, rap, clap, snap. You know what I'm saying? If you drawing pictures and doing your thing as an artist, may the world love your art. God bless y'all. Thanks for having me, Smoke a Lot Radio.
Thank you for listening to the #1 radio station for the people.
Nexxlegacy Radio.